A super good morning to you, and welcome to this week's video. This week, I'm looking at the Japanese writer Haruki Murakami, and if you're wondering why I'm sitting talking to you in the dark, let me cast a little light on the subject and explain to you that Haruki Murakami is a Japanese writer, prolific writer, and he gets up at 4 o'clock every morning. By 10 past 4, he's at his desk, he's working, and he does a block of 6 hours. He works from 4 until 10 a.m. and that's his main creative work block of the day, done and dusted by 10 o'clock in the morning, and the rest of the morning, or the rest of the day should I say, is taken up by things like physical activity, immersing himself in his niche, which is things like listening to good music, reading, that type of thing. And his physical activities, either running 10 kilometers or swimming 2 kilometers, or both. Anyway, so with that said, here I am, just gone 4 o'clock in the morning, getting ready to move across over there to my makeshift desk here in the Granada apartment, and get going. The one thing that's already different, that I'm already failing the Murakami schedule, is I'm supposed to be having a cup of coffee, but it's 4 o'clock here in the morning. Sunrise is only at about between 7 o'clock and 7:30, and just from a personal point of view, I prefer not to have my first cup of the coffee of the day while it's still dark outside. Race days on triathlon, when I'm needing to start racing already at about first light, are my exceptions, but generally speaking, I don't want to have coffee before it's light outside, so I've got a bottle of water sitting there on my desk, which I'll be sipping on while getting stuck into my writing. The Shadows of the Past writing project, let me stand up and work my way across there. The Shadows of the Past writing project is the main thing that I'm working on at the moment, and my final deadline for Amazon is in 7 days' time, this coming Sunday, which means, as you can see, dark outside, which means that I've got 7 days, and I've got 6 chapters that need to be completely rewritten because they simply don't work. So that's what I'm going to be doing. As far as the rest of the Murakami program is concerned, I'll be keeping you updated there. The one thing that I can't do right at the moment is have the camera onto my keyboard while I'm writing, simply because I haven't got the tripod with me here in Granada, so it's a bit difficult to be typing on the keyboard and holding the camera at the same time. So that'll have to wait until I'm back in Ochiba, and so that'll probably be into morning number 2 of my Murakami system. Anyway, but with that said, enough waffling. I need to get working, and I'll keep you updated on how things progress. See you then. And a quick catch up on this Monday morning. The time is 8:38. I'm at the bus stop waiting for the 8:30 bus, and it's 8:38. Surprise, surprise. Anyway, what can I tell you? I was up at 4, as you can see, and it took me about a half an hour, 35 minutes or so, to be able to finally, after more than a week, really connect with the... Oh, that's terrible lighting. Connect with the world that I built in Cedar Ridge, and connect with the characters so that I could start creating the brand new outline for chapters 10 through to 15. And the good news is that by the time I packed up at 7:30, so that's a good solid 3 hours of work, I've got most of the outline done and an incredibly clear idea of what's going to be happening in chapters 10 and 11. So I'm going to count that as a massive win, because it's been all of what, whole week of not really being able to make any progress whatsoever, and all of a sudden, the first day of my Murakami challenge, and I seem to have broken through that blockage, which is making me massively optimistic at being able to publish or have my final manuscript up onto Amazon by this coming Sunday, by next week Sunday, to be able to have it published the Thursday following. So from that perspective, I'm incredibly happy, and at least so much more motivated for the week coming up ahead than what I was before. How long it will be before getting into bed at midnight and getting up at 4 a.m. will catch up to me and I'll crash is yet to be seen. But as I said, we're about to jump into the bus through to Orcheva. From there it's going to be probably arriving in Orcheva, around about 10:30. I've got a gym client at noon, so it gives me some time to prepare that workout program, and then after that it's back to my desk, see if I can crank out chapter 10 before lunch, because after lunch comes the first official Spanish lesson of the year, and that kicks off. That will be running from 4 until 6 this afternoon. But anyway, the bus is about to arrive. Let me jump on and I'll catch up with all of you just a bit later. Good afternoon to you. As you can see, I'm not running. I've got a whole week of this, and I don't think there's very much point in pushing myself to the point of injury on my very first day of Murakami lifestyle. But what I can tell you about my experience thus far with Murakami lifestyle is, yes, I got into bed way too late last night, about midnight, but the alarm went off at 4. I was up at 4, and the net effect of that is that I got a massive amount done. Not maybe a massive amount in terms of word count in my 3.5 hour pushing 4 hour block, but what I did manage was to make a breakthrough, and making a breakthrough was about all that I could have hoped for this morning. So the fact that I made a breakthrough makes me feel incredibly positive about the process, and looking forward to tomorrow morning's 4 a.m. start. The flip side of that is, it's now, what time is it? 4:15 in the afternoon. My Spanish class starts at 4:15 in the afternoon and runs through until 6. So that's going to be taking care of that. So I'm just did a couple of, besides getting to Spanish class, I did a couple of extra kilometers so that I can rack up my kilometers, because I'm needing to rack up about 10 kilometers for today. I might not make it all the way to 10, but I will do my level best to get as close to 10 as possible. I'll probably be able to fill you in on how close I got to 10 by the time I get to the beginning of day 2 on the Murakami work schedule project. If this wind noise is causing problems with the microphone, my sincerest apologies, but sometimes things are what they are, and we make the best of what we have. I'm just on my way to Spanish school at the moment, going to make a turn in, the lighting is probably terrible, but in this amphitheater park type of thing, that we've got here. And to give you an idea, this open park amphitheater space used to be the town cemetery, which means that all of those houses along there, when it got converted from a cemetery, a very dilapidated looking cemetery at that, into an open public space, suddenly had a massive boost in value. But running, I haven't done any of that yet today. I was thinking about doing a batch of kilometers on the treadmill, but when I finished with my gym client, my best friend just happened to be heading into gym. She was on the elliptical. The treadmill wasn't quite close enough for me to jump on the treadmill and have a conversation with her, and we haven't had a conversation since easily near the beginning of last week. So it was great to catch up. Anyway, racking up the kilometers. After Spanish class, I'm going to rack up another few kilometers and hopefully get up as close to 10 as I possibly can for today. But let me head into Spanish class and I'll see you all just a bit later. Good morning to you. I seem to be getting a lot better at this. You sit down quickly. Yesterday morning in Granada. Oh, the light's terrible. Yesterday morning in Granada, it was about 22 minutes past 4 before I was sitting down at my desk. But then getting started working was only at about half past 4, 25 to 5, simply because I was having problems with this phone as far as recording videos are concerned, because it was showing me that there wasn't enough space to be able to store the videos, when I knew there was enough space. I needed to figure out why. So that slowed me down a little bit yesterday morning. This morning, it's now 5:15, so 4:15. There we go. Let's see. I don't know if you can see that. 4:15. I was here in my little office space. 4:10, and 4:10 is when Haruki Murakami sits down at his desk. So I'm getting closer. I'm only 5 minutes away at the moment. Anyway, with that said, I'm feeling surprisingly fresh this morning. I wasn't expecting to feel this fresh. But what I think I'm going to do is, I know this sounds like procrastination, but I'm going to pop through to the kitchen and pick up a B12, because the B12 that I've got in my office is empty. One other piece of information: today, Tuesday, the 1st of October, and it's the first morning that I'm needing to put on a long sleeve warm sweater, because the temperatures are just that little bit cooler. Anyway, let me open up the computer, get things set up, grab my vitamin B12. I've got 1 bottle of water, 2 bottles of water. So I've got 2, because yesterday I had 1 bottle of water, wasn't enough. Got 2 bottles of water lined up. Let me get my B12 and get cracking. Speak to you just a little bit later. And what can I tell you? Yesterday's physical activity is supposed to be running, but most of it was walking, part of my Haruki Murakami work schedule. Came out at 11.4 kilometers, so I'll take that as a win as far as hitting 10 kilometers. It took me 4 outings to do that, but be that as it may, 4 outings, but I got to 10 kilometers in the end. The other part that I can tell you is I'm at the language school. And being at the language school means English class time. The other thing that I can tell you is getting up at 4 o'clock this morning means that by the time the afternoon rolled around, I was already at over 4,000 words of content for the day, or 4,000 words written, an entire chapter finished, and there's still going to be another workout coming up later on this evening, which means that there's a distinct possibility of being able to push that word count up a bit higher. The flip side of that is the fatigue crash hasn't happened yet, and we'll have to wait and see for when that happens, not if. But so far, so good. 2 days in a row up at 4, 2 days in a row of producing massive amounts of content, and 2 days in a row of getting a good workout in. But now, I need to head into class, so I'll speak to all of you just a little bit later, because I'm sure my classmate will not want to be on my YouTube channel. So let me sign off right now. And good morning. It's Wednesday, and let me get the light on. Sit down at my desk. And are the really early mornings starting to catch up with me? I will definitely say so, yes. Oh, sorry. Pardon the yawning. But what I will say is that I'm thinking that the super early morning is catching up with me today more so than yesterday, is simply because last night I was in bed probably at about 11, but it wasn't until about 1:30 before I fell asleep, so it's not that many hours of sleep. So what I can be sure of this morning is that I'm going to need to get a good nap during the afternoon to make up for effectively 3 nights in a row of not quite enough sleep. But anyway, I've got a chapter to write, and then I'll probably be able to catch up with you a whole lot more during the course of the run that'll be coming just a bit later. Speak to you all then. And it's Thursday morning already. This Haruki Murakami week is absolutely flying by. What can I say about the 4th day in a row of being up in the dark, 4 o'clock in the morning, is in a way, I can almost say it's something that I can get used to. The one thing that is taking a bit of time to get used to is going to bed earlier. Because there's absolutely no way to keep waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning if you're not going to bed at about 10 o'clock in the evening. And that's the part of it that's taking some getting used to. But the getting up at 4, working while it's super quiet in the morning, getting things done, that I can seriously get used to. This morning I won't be able to work through until quite as late. I'll probably need to stop at about 8 o'clock in the morning or so. It's come 9 o'clock. As it opens, I need to be up at the fresh fruit market to pick up fruit and veg for the coming week. And I need to be there promptly at 9, because promptly at 10 o'clock I've got a gym client. And I want to get the fruit and veg out of the way before the gym client, so that after the gym client I can get stuck into my training. Because part of the Haruki Murakami week is getting the 10Ks in, and I want to get that in as soon after my client finishes as possible. So my client will be 10 o'clock to 11, so from 11 onwards I want to get stuck into my training, so I can get that wrapped up probably by about 12:30, and then have time to be able to prepare for my English class this afternoon. But let me not carry on waffling for too long. Get stuck into work. I've got everything set up ready to go. I set it up ready to go last night already, and now I just need to get going. And that's what I'm going to do right now. Speak to you later. Oh dear. Another afternoon of absolutely terrible lighting. But what can you do when you need to walk in this direction and the sun is directly there? Anyway, 4:15. I'm supposed to be sitting in the language school at the moment, but the language school is just over there, so it's not too bad. Not too badly late, should I say. Anyway, what can I say about my Murakami writing session this morning? A smidgen over 4,000 words, getting pretty close to 5,000 words for today. My total for the month so far, bearing in mind that my target for the entire month is 80,000 words, and on today the 3rd, I've already notched up past the 13,000 word mark, which means that I'm probably on track to finish the entire month's writing by the 17th of October, which isn't too badly going. Anyway, I'm back at English language class, and heading upstairs. Running wise, I haven't gotten all my 10 kilometers in for today. Then again, I had gym clients and all sorts of other exciting appointments to do, so that curtailed time for running just a little bit. But overall, I'm still happy with my Murakami process so far. And let me head into the classroom and catch up with everybody else who I'm sure doesn't want to be in the Murakami videos. So I'll say goodbye to all of you until just a bit later. And a super good Friday morning. Day 5 of my 1 week Haruki Murakami challenge. And what can I say? have my water, have my vitamin B12. The two things that are part of my early morning. Now, unlike Haruki Murakami, it's not coffee this early in the morning. It's now 4:21. The one thing that I can say, let me just get that out of the way. The one thing that I can say about this week, 5 days so far of getting up super early in the morning to get the block of writing done. This morning, my alarm did not go off. I was awake wide awake, at 5 to 4. I stayed lying in bed until my alarm went off, but it didn't go off. I checked my watch again, and it was 17 minutes past 4, and here it is at 22 minutes past 4, 5 minutes later, and I'm here at my desk. So let's get the show on the road. I have chapter 12 to work on, and that's 12, 13 and 14, and then my book should be ready to go. So 3 chapters. I've got 3 Haruki Murakami mornings to go, and on the 3rd day of my Haruki Murakami morning is the day that the manuscript needs to be on Amazon. So if I do a chapter a morning, it'll all be done. The question is, can I do a chapter a morning? We shall have to wait and see. But the only way the chapters are going to get done is if I get my fingers on the keyboard and get flying. So I'll catch up with all of you a bit later, probably when I head out for a bit of a run. And till then, it's water, then some breakfast, then a run. And I'll speak to you soon.